Yeah, so it's on the page on it.
Or
Um, so you want to start?
sure.
That it should be up here somewhere. Yeah. All right. Okay. Ready?
Mhm.
Uno, dos, tres, cuatro.
Hi guys,
What?
welcome to another episode of All Things Marriage.
We're your hosts, Derek
And Crystal.
and
Yeah, so today, first and foremost, we want to apologize to you guys that we were not on last week. We ran into some complications.
right,
And it had nothing to do with us.
right. Yeah,
We had a guest on, our guest on, and long story short, they're here this week. So,
right. So we want to introduce our guests.
yeah.
We have good longtime friends, lifelong friends. Mr. Chris and
Odessa
Miss Odessa
Moore.
Moore.
Yes.
And this week we're going to be talking about what?
We're going to be talking about blended families. We're going to be talking about, I mean, again, all things marriage, of course. How they met, how they, what's their story. We're going to get to know them a little bit more. So,
Right. So that being said, we're going to bring on
the
Chris and
more.
Odessa, the Moors. And I want you guys to first say, hey, what's up?
Hi, everybody.
And tell our audience a little bit about yourself. Who are you? Where you from? What you do? All that good stuff.
What you want to say?
Right. Right.
Well, I'm Odessa Moore.
Okay.
This is my husband, Chris.
Okay.
we've been we've known each other since I think sophomore year high school. My sophomore year, junior,
I believe so.
and something like that.
Hmm.
It has been a long time. I'm gonna be honest. We became, I guess, we became friends. Well, we met through a situation where um we basically were in the same class, really didn't know much about each other, know each other for that matter. um we were in a computer class together, and
In the culinary class.
oh right, the culinary class too. I mean, yeah, okay. It was both, but I just remember specifically computers because I love computers. So
Right.
um we were doing an assignment in class, and I think the teacher had already given out the instruction and everything. So I kind of like,
Mhm.
she told me like after she finished the instruction, go around, see who needed help or whatever. And I got up, started to look around, and I just see this guy and his friend beside him, and they're just like, what are we supposed to be doing?
And missed a lot of stuff.
Right.
Mhm. It
So,
happens.
so I knew his friend Alwyn, but I didn't know who he was. So at that time, Alwyn, he tapped me and he was like, what are we supposed to be doing? And I explained everything to him. They both had questions. I answered the questions, and I was like, y'all good? They was like, okay. So I walked back to my seat, and yeah.
Yeah.
But y'all still didn't know each other at that point, right?
Uh,
Like,
Not really.
I just,
okay.
it was not to sound cliche, but all I knew was she was just really smart and pretty.
Mm, okay. So I mean, how did who was interested first?
Right.
Like, how
Yeah.
did that go?
So it's a little interesting, but I found out that he had asked his friend Alwyn about me, and
Um,
of course we had plenty of mutual friends because we all was in middle school together, and apparently he
mm,
went to middle school with me. I just didn't know who he was, but he was
right.
Antoine, and I was just like, wow, this world is way too small. Okay. Um, but we knew we had plenty of mutual friends, and they kept telling me that he likes me, and I'm like, no way, because I'm the type of person where if you're not telling me, I'm not gonna
Right.
Yeah.
I need facts.
right, there you
That
go.
means
'Cause
coming from you.
I don't do that. Like
See,
so
see, every time I ask about her, I ask mutual friends, and they would tell me that she already had a boyfriend.
Oh yeah. Oh, so they were blocking. That's
I did not at that particular time, honestly. I had somebody that I liked, but I didn't have a boyfriend.
gotcha.
So my oldest son's father was honest with me because he told me, he was like, yeah, so I knew Chris liked you. I just put my bid in before he can get to you. I was like, oh, that's so petty. Like that's really petty. I just need you to know that.
Yeah.
But I guess we were like friends on like social media, of course.
Right.
And he was a complete sweetheart because like if I put up a post about something about how I'm feeling, of course, every time he will message me, he's just like, "Are you okay?" And we would literally like just we'll message back and forth. And I kind of vent how I'm feeling on everything. And it was probably like a couple years after we graduated, and he simply asked me on a date, and I was just like,
Okay.
and I knew it was something different because he was like, oh, we're going on a morning date, and I was like, huh, a morning date? And he was like, yeah. He was like, just we'll meet in the morning. So we met. It was rather early, probably like 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, and
7:45.
7:45. See,
Chris, you have those things written down somewhere.
like I need some bullets. But anyway, but yeah, it was early in the morning, May the 5th.
May the 6th.
I do it every time.
You gotta get his cheat sheet. You gotta get his
Right.
We could have got this together. Okay. But we it was May the 6th. It was early in the morning, 7:45, and we went to Jefferson Park. And at Jefferson Park is basically a complete clear view of the city. Like it's very, very pretty. We pretty much sat there and kind of like just enjoy the moment and sat and talked for a little bit. And then like we'll never forget because we had like this memorable moment where this random guy just walks up the hill. Now everyone knows now at the park there are stairs there. At that particular time, there were no stairs.
No stairs.
This guy was like hiking, like mountain hiking up, because that's a very deep incline. So I'm just like,
Oh no, yeah, it's a climb to get up there. If you not driving up, you gonna just come up like the trees, not the trees, but you gonna come up the hill.
Yeah.
No, that's not
exactly.
All I saw was like tall grass rustling, and then he just appeared.
Exactly.
Like a wild Pokemon.
I was just going to say my man's definitely a Pokemon.
My theory is that he was just checking and making sure you guys were there where y'all was supposed to be. He was like an angel, like
let's call it that, because
Right.
he came up and he sat there and basically talked about everything under the sun. I felt like a counselor for a second, but I still to this day I still don't remember a thing he talked about. He talked so long, he was able to light up a cigarette and smoke it, and then I think he lit up another, I think it was a Black and Mild or something like that, and smoked it. And I was just like, okay.
yeah, he was going through.
Yeah. This is early in the morning to be going through so much. All right.
Right.
Only thing I remember was he like was talking about how he used eye drops after smoking, and that's the only thing he really.
Yeah,
the only thing I remember.
That by far was definitely like the very memorable part of the date. Part we went to Bird Park, and he tried to teach me how to skateboard. Now I have always been a very clumsy person, so I already knew this was not a good idea. But we went for it anyway. I felt like I failed a couple times. Now he
Uh-huh.
said I didn't, but I think I felt like 3 times.
The only time you really like the skateboard went forward and you didn't, it only happened once, but I was there to help you.
Long story short, I have not gotten on the skateboard to this day. But I know after that we went to Hardee's to eat,
Okay.
and then we that's when he was choking on lemonade.
Yeah,
That's rude. That's so rude.
yeah.
Like Derek was just choking on rice.
Okay, let's be clear. Like, for our viewing audience, interrupt y'all for like 2 seconds. Crystal thinks it's so funny for you guys out there that are listening, that are watching. We were just eating our dinner, and I was eating a burrito, and I breathed apparently the wrong way, and a rice kernel just shot down involuntarily. And
That's not the funny part.
And I started choking.
That's not the funny part. People.
I started choking. She thought it was hilarious that I was essentially dying.
No.
And it's just like, and what's so bad is because like now I have a mouthful of food and I'm choking. Typically, if you're choking, you want to cough and just get it out. Can't do that because I got a mouthful of food.
You can't do that.
And so she's sitting there looking at me like, "Are you okay?" And I'm just like,
exactly.
No,
I'm so glad you brought that point out because I asked him, was he okay with a serious face, no laughing or anything? The Moors are my witness because that's what happened. And then when he was like, no, I let him finish and got it straight.
No, she was laughing the whole time.
And then he said, the Lord spared him one more time. That's when I started laughing.
The devil tried to take me out.
I can't.
And God stepped in just in the nick of time. That's all I'm saying. But anyway, back to you guys' story and the lemonade.
Chris and the lemonade.
We just got our food, just sat down, and I put the straw in the cup and took one sip, and it's just the lemonade just caught a hold to me and didn't want to let go.
I feel your pain. I understand.
And I was trying to like hold it together in between coughs, trying to tough it out.
I'm not even gonna lie. When I saw it, I was just like, I'm hoping he's okay. I didn't ask anything. I'm gonna be honest because I know
just let him struggle.
But I was just like, is he okay? And then he finally like coughed a few times. I was like, "You're good?" He was like, "Yeah, I'm good." And I could see him like kind of tearing up in the corner. And I'm like, "Are you like? Are you okay?"
I was really trying to just tough it out,
hold it together.
So, I think after we ate at Hardee's, we went to see the movie Thor. That was when Thor first came out, and like. That kind of will always be our thing because that was our very first date. And it was something that we both like. We love the Marvel movies anyway. So we've always been fascinated with that. And that's kind of started it because every time we watch a Thor movie, it's just like, oh, remember our first dates.
Oh.
Yeah.
As far as I guess our life, we have 3 children together.
Okay.
I am a tech, basically. I do IT.
Mm-hmm.
My CCNA. Fingers crossed I make it.
That's what's up.
Okay.
And we have 3 boys. God help me, I'm the only female.
Oh, power to you, girl.
But you're used to it though.
I actually am because I have 3 older brothers.
And you're the only girl.
Yep.
The only girl, yes. So I always wanted to chase behind the boys and do what the boys do. So this is really not a problem. But eventually I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna go for a drive. And I would legit sometimes just sit with my mama and be like, Mama, I don't know how you do it.
Right. No, I feel your pain because being the only boy with 3 sisters, it get lonely sometimes. It just,
you just
yeah,
can't really do nothing else.
right. You just gotta lock yourself away and
Right.
just talk to the Lord.
We can spare you one more time.
All right, bro.
He's fine now, y'all.
I can't.
Thanks to God, I got my mason jar.
You and this mason jar. Okay.
Right.
She doesn't. She felt had a little judgy moment because I said drink out of a mason jar, whatever the drink is, it's just better.
I didn't have an issue with that.
Like if you have like a plastic cup or like a regular glass or whatever of like a Pepsi or Kool-Aid or just plain water, it's okay. But when it's in a mason jar, it just does something different to your soul.
The only issue I had with the mason jar is he didn't want anything under a 32 ounce.
Yeah, you gotta have a big one. You can't have like the little bitty small. That don't count. You need a grown man. Like you need you canning some tomatoes or you making some pasta verbs. You need a grown man.
And that's the only reason why I was like, okay, cool. Because if we can only use 2, honestly, I can get a few extra. And if I need to can something like my grandma did, I would, have the mason jar.
You can use as many as you want.
But the thing that got me was when he pulled them out of the box, he said, what is this? As if it wasn't a 32 ounce that he had asked for. Like, he said bigger.
I think he expected it to be bigger.
Right. I was like, okay. And Chris, what do you do?
Well, I'm a chef and I also work on computers.
Okay.
Working on my A+ certification, and I'm also taking up coding.
Okay.
Solid.
So he pretty much dips in everything.
Right.
He went to school for he went to culinary school. He went to school for massage therapy, as you heard. He went to school. Then he went to school for culinary arts.
Okay.
Design.
Right. And now he's about to go back for mobile development. So it's just like he's definitely a wide range of things.
The jack of all trades.
Facts. Right?
Yeah.
Literally. And then be in the house trying to fix stuff too.
Right.
What's up?
You do fix stuff. Some stuff.
He's around with stuff.
Don't be.
You're like, let's see how this works.
I'm with it.
I'm not coming at him. I'm just saying.
I'm with it because Crystal know I do legitimately everything. I do a little bit of everything. Yeah. So yeah,
I need him to do a lot of at least a couple things.
I feel attacked. I'm not gonna lie. I feel attacked.
All right, babe. We're all about growing our partners as well as growing ourselves. So, I'm encouraging you to, hone in on some stuff.
Derek, what's that noise?
Oh, it's okay, darling.
So we have 3 boys together.
Okay.
Most of them are from a previous situations. And then me and him have the 3rd one together.
Yes.
So I'm sorry.
I'm good. You finished what you said? So you say y'all have 3 kids together, and I love that you say, they have other fathers, but we have 3 children together. Yeah. We parent 3 children together. We discipline and train 3 children together. I truly love that because you have so many instances where blended families, it's like, no, that's my child. Don't say nothing to my child. if they have a problem or issue, you come get me, and it strains the marital relationship.
And sometimes I have to catch myself because
Mm,
I do that sometimes. And I just
okay.
like I wouldn't have married him if I didn't trust him with my kids. So sometimes I'd be
Mm,
like, don't, and I have to catch myself.
mm,
If I didn't marry him, like I basically knew of the type of guy he was, and I
mm,
wanted my children to be like him. So I
right.
can't come up here and say, don't do that when he knows what he needs to do, because he's a man. He knows
Yeah.
what to do to train the boys. So I'm just
Yeah.
like, sometimes I'll catch myself. I'm gonna be honest,
That's
especially
transparent. We love transparency.
No, so
right. I
Yeah.
will catch myself. I'll be like, babe, don't you think you was too hard? And I'm like, you know what? Nope, never mind. And
Yeah.
he'll be like, what I do? And I'll be like, no,
Mm,
because I check myself and I'm like, I
yeah.
have to, if I trust him enough to take care of him, then I have to let him lead as far as
Yeah.
because I'm one of those
Yeah.
I can have them, but I
Mm,
right.
really don't know like what it
yeah.
is to be a man. So it's just like
That's true.
I can appreciate.
mm.
I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
We try to balance out like one being a structuring parent and one being a nurturing parent.
Hmm.
We try to balance it out, find middle ground between the two where we won't be like overlapping each other or
Hmm.
Yeah,
you
because
know.
I can get aggressive sometimes. I admit it. I'm
But no. So what I was saying was, I like the fact that you said you allow him to lead.
mm-hmm.
Because what we found, and and not only in our relationship, but in observing others, and watching and taking both the good and the bad examples that we
Hmm.
have in our life, and trying to learn and grow from that, is um while a person in leadership definitely has to have a leadership quality and have to have the capability to lead, at the end of the day, they cannot lead unless the people or the person or people who are being led allows them that room to
Hmm.
lead. Like, it doesn't matter how much I want to give instruction or
Mm-hmm.
take the lead role in a situation.
Hmm.
I can't do that if you don't give me that room.
Yeah.
You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And that's where that's a part of where the whole submission thing comes
Yeah.
in marriage, right? Where it's just like, it's not so much you're gonna tell me what to do, but it's I'm relinquishing this right
Yeah.
to you and giving you the right to make the decision
Absolutely.
and trusting you to be responsible with that, and to not mishandle that trust that I'm
Yeah.
giving you. You know what I'm saying? So I can definitely appreciate that, and I like that you said that, because we've said it on our channel a bunch of times, but it's always good to hear it from someone else, especially young couples like ourselves,
Yeah.
that people that that get it, that really, that kind of like, that understand, because truth be told, some couples never get it. You have people who have been together for 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years, and you still see them
Yeah.
struggling,
They're still butting heads,
butting heads.
trying to figure out who will lead, and it's just like, no, no, no.
And it's not
Somebody needs to give
Right.
it up.
You'll see marriages and relationships where the people have been together for 15, 20 years, and then all of a sudden now they're no longer.
right.
And it's just like, well, what happened? Somebody wasn't
Hmm.
willing to submit to the other person, and it goes
Yeah.
both ways.
And see,
Yeah.
I had to get to a point where I had to unlearn some things
Oh
because
no.
because
Unlearning some stuff is just as hard as
And then
learning
learning
new
new
stuff.
stuff, right?
it really genuinely is because um the only marriage that I could really look up to, and of course, as you get older, you find out like other stuff was happening too.
Hmm.
Really able to look up to was my grandmother and my grandfather. Everybody else around me wasn't married, so
Hmm.
I had, of course, along with that, coming from a single family home, single parent home. So
Yeah.
I had my mom telling me, well, you can ask them to do it, but if they don't do it, you get it done. And I'm just like, I get that, I understand that. But as I started to develop my relationship with God, I realized if I I have to give him some leeway, and I have to trust him enough to just let him lead. And I had to unlearn that, look, I don't always have to do it myself. It don't always have to come when I want it to. I have to
Yeah.
have the time to actually do it, to actually, lead and not be the one that, well, I'm just going to do it myself. Like, I'm learning.
Yeah.
It's still a process. Y'all pray for me.
Yeah.
But no, and that's the thing, and that's the thing. It is a process. It's something that we, both men and women, husband and wife, mother, father, child, whatever, we have to work on it on a daily basis. And because if you think you got it figured out today, and then you're gonna hang your head on that, tomorrow is gonna be a problem.
Yeah. It's gonna be a curveball in there.
Like something new is gonna happen, and it's just like, wait a minute, nope, I was not ready. We so we not having it, so we have to constantly be in that mindset of I wake up in the morning and I have to figure it out today, just like I figured it out yesterday.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. And the things that we've learned, we have to constantly apply those
Yep.
things, because it doesn't just come easy, especially if, like you said, if I've learned something my entire life and it's good for me by myself, and then when I get with somebody else and it's just like, no, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily like I'm going upside your head every day,
Right.
but you are being disrespectful. you are not allowing me to be the head of the household, or you are not allowing me to train the children up in the way, as the Bible says, as the way they should go,
Right.
because you feel as though it's your job. And that's in blended families, that's in just biological families.
Mhm.
And I think when you add children,
Yeah.
it seems to be a little bit even heavier, because you have outside parents.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you want to, think about, well, what if this parent feels some type of way?
Right.
And it's just like, I respect that you have an opinion,
Right.
but in my house, this is how we roll.
And see, that's the wonderful thing about
Yeah.
my oldest son's father. Shout out to you.
Mm.
Love you, dude. He honestly, we were friends before we got together. So
Okay.
the friendship never failed, and we respect each other's household. He knows,
That's awesome.
he knows I'm a Christian. I'm going to. He grew up in it, but he don't really, as he say, rock with it that much.
Yeah.
Never put my son in a position to where, oh, you don't have to go to church, or you don't have to do this, you don't have to.
Yeah.
He understands this. Look, this is the structure that I started with him, and it's helping him, and he sees it, and he's just like, we commend each other, and I tell him, you're doing a great job. Nobody is no manual in this.
Right.
We're doing the best we can. That's the best.
Right. Because that's my praise partner. Y'all, if y'all don't know, her oldest son is my praise partner. And I seen him yesterday for the first time in months.
Yeah.
Probably a year.
Almost a year.
Yeah. And he was just like, praise partner.
Chris, let me ask you this, and that I'm going to ask you to speak to the man for just a few minutes. What was that like for you? Because because oftentimes when it comes to like the blended family, or the raising the kids and all that other stuff, we always hear the woman's perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's not a bad thing, you know what I'm saying? Because shout out to the single mom, shout out to the married mom, shout out to the blended family moms in general. You know what I'm saying? Like, we love our moms, we love our women, love them to death, but we need to hear from men as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So talk for just a few minutes on what that was like for you as a man coming into a situation with this person who who you've known for a while, to an extent grew up with or around, and then trying to make that family dynamic work from you. Like, what were your struggles, or did you struggle at all?
Yeah.
Right. What was your mindset going in, and what was that transition like for you?
Well, knowing her before we started dating, I know that it would take, you have to be patient.
Mhm.
Of course, she had to be patient with me too.
Yeah.
Right.
It was, as far as the children, it was different for each child. Jarrell already had a father figure, and then I come along, so it had to take some adjustment.
Mm-hmm.
He saw me as a friend first, and then it took him a second to adjust to me as when there's a time of authority.
Yeah.
And as far as Jaden, I was the only person he's known as a father figure.
You are his father.
Right. Right.
I was telling Justin earlier, this morning, that it really doesn't take me long to get attached to people.
Mm.
That's true.
And when I met him, when he met me, we met each other, we instantly got attached to each other.
Mm.
It was like the best of friends. I didn't understand it at all. Literally, like he was really young, so he was maybe like, I think less than 2, probably less than that, really.
Yeah.
And every time he would see him, he'd be like, Chris, and he'll just like run up to him. And I'm like, okay. So it was. I enjoyed it. I loved the fact that was the case, and I just realized that they were truly like developing a friendship. That now,
Right.
instead of just being a friendship, that's pretty much all Jaden knows as father. So
Yeah. I think it's very important that the friendship is there. Honestly, with any parent child, I think there's a level of friendship, but it has to be as strong when you're dealing with blended family.
Right.
When somebody is coming in and the other parent is like, no, they're going to be a father figure or they're going to be a mother figure. They're
Right.
going to do the same things that I do
Right.
when I discipline you, when I teach you. Their voice carries just as much heaviness or weight, rather, as mine. So I think that friendship is very key in developing that father son or mother son daughter relationship when you're dealing with blended families.
Right. I was looking at a podcast not too long ago with a bunch of ex-athletes, a bunch of retired athletes. Brandon Marshall was on. They had Dwayne Wade as their guest. It's called I'm an Athlete. We can drop a tag down in the description. But one of the questions that they were asking him, asking Dwayne Wade, was what was that like for him in his situation with Gabrielle Union. He was married before, got divorced. He and his first wife had kids, and then him and Gabrielle getting together. And one of the things that he was saying on there, which kind of really stuck out to me, was the fact that, similar to you guys, when it took some getting used to for the kids, and they were younger. They weren't like babies, but they were like early teens and younger, right? And so, like 8, 9 years old, whatever. And so he was saying that for his kids, she started off the same way as friend Gabrielle. You know what I'm saying? And not in the sense of, oh, we on the same level or whatever, and like in a disrespectful way, but she started off building that friendship with them.
Right.
First, and so they respected her as a friend, and then over time they started to see that, yeah, this is friend Gabrielle, but at the same time, when something goes down at school and the teacher isn't treating you right, or you have a conflict at the school, she's up at the school like, who did what to what child, and how do we need to fix this? And so over time they begin to see, not only is this person a friend, but this person is actually like out here looking out for me and one was best for me. So then when it was time for her to make a decision, there is no button heads, and there is no you not my mama, because I've shown that I'm here for you.
Yeah.
And you built that relationship that way. So that's that. So again, like literally I just heard that like earlier today. So hearing you guys say that is just like, Yeah, like that's definitely it. And again, I feel like people miss it sometimes, trying to tell like force their kids, this your new mama, this your new dad, or on the opposite end of the spectrum, don't say nothing to my kids. These my kids. You know what I mean? And it's just like, no, you gotta let that relationship build
Yeah,
naturally.
It
I
has to
yeah.
happen on its own. You can't force it.
Yeah.
You can't
Right.
Mhm.
no restrictions when it starts. These are little people themselves. So
Yeah.
you have to
Exactly.
introduce them and let them develop their own relationship.
Right.
Yes.
Most definitely.
Yes.
Definitely takes time. Rome wasn't built in a day. Neither is a relationship.
Mm. It's just like with a newborn baby. They don't know you either.
Right.
They really don't.
You have to learn, okay, what cry do they have? You
Right.
have to learn, what do they want? Do they need, X, Y, Z? They have to, especially since they're firstborn, they really can't see that far, And it's just like, I don't know who you are, you making noises and all of the strange. So they have to develop that, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes it takes a little bit longer. Sometimes it's
It's instant.
instant,
Yeah.
like Chris.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That
I
was just a
know,
little crazy, but it was with them two. It was. I hate to say it like this, but it was like it was meant to happen because
right,
Right.
like they were so it was so quick to happen. Like he said,
right.
the oldest, it just took a little adjusting. But I think what really helped was the fact that like Chris and Devin knew each other.
Um,
They already knew each other, so there was already respect there. So
right.
even when Jarrell, my oldest, started to feel like, oh, my dad, his daddy was like, nah, you're not gonna do that.
Yeah, and that's so important.
Right.
Like,
That is really
yeah.
important
Absolutely.
because you don't, in blended families, you don't know what's happening or said when they go over there.
Uh-huh.
Right.
And it brings back the actions when they come
Yeah.
back home, and it's just like, where that come from?
Right. But when
You had to
but
get on.
when both biological parents
Uh-huh.
are on the same
Yeah.
page like that, and it's just like, look, this is the situation. I understand you may not like it, and it's outside of your control, but this is how we're going to handle it.
Mhm.
And then you have all adult parties involved
Mhm.
working towards the same goal. It makes a world of difference,
Yeah.
and you can tell it. Like you can tell not only looking at the instances like you guys where it is working like that, but looking at a lot of these instances where that's not the case, and the biological parents are constantly butting heads,
Yeah.
or like mom and new mom can't get along, dad and new dad can't get along, and then the kids feel that and they start acting out on that. They start playing into that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And repeating what they hear the other parent saying.
Because a lot of the times in blended families, it's like I'm loyal to my daddy. That's my daddy. Or that's my mama. So I can't be friends with you. You might be cool.
Right.
You might be somebody I thought I could have a relationship with, but then my mama don't like you. And it's just like, I gotta side with my mama.
Yeah.
And so that's an emotional blockage for them. I'm torn between somebody I have to live with or be around for an extended period of time, and one parent wants me to respect them or build a bond with them, and the other parent, I'm like, they may not necessarily tell me I can't be friends with them, but I know as a child, I know my mama is upset when this person come around.
It's honestly a form of trauma.
It is.
If you want to be real, it's traumatic.
And it usually doesn't end out like the parent wants the opposing parent.
Right.
It doesn't end well for them because it's just like, you acting crazy. At a certain point, a child is like, you acting crazy.
Yeah.
This place is a safe place.
Yeah.
What we had started doing, because honestly, when he first got here, and I'm so glad it was like it just happened at that particular time. When my oldest first got here, it was definitely heated. Like there were problems, but it was mainly problems because it was basically his friend at that particular time didn't like me simply because I had a child with him.
Right.
it was simply I don't know. I'm not gonna say it was insecurities. I honestly wouldn't know. But after that incident, and like, you know, he started to go through his situations. First of all, I gave him time because he wasn't there for the child's my son's oldest son's whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Got to a point where he realized, look, I can't do this to him. And he started to communicate to me. We started to open up and talk to each other about things. And I was basically telling him, look, I can care less what goes on at your house. I need you to understand that the core of me still communicating with you after we break up is the fact that I'm concerned about my child.
Yeah.
Everything that we do, it needs to come with Jarrell's concern.
Yeah.
I think a lot of couples or a lot of people who are blended who have blended families, they have an issue with basically prioritizing their feelings and not for the child.
Yeah.
Just like, if you want this child to have a healthy relationship with whomever along with himself and to be able to get along with everybody, you have to make him the core basically to
Yeah.
and that's what me and after he left that particular person, that's what me and him end up doing. We end up saying, okay, it doesn't matter who come about, he's going to hear something, because my oldest son is sneaky, I'm gonna be honest. He's going to hear something. So if we want it to remain mutual, basically, where he respects my you know, this family he lives with and that family that he goes to see, we have to make sure that he understands there's no ill will.
Yeah.
So you're gonna get respect all over the board. And if I found out that you're not respectful to his friend, I'm coming at your throat. You're not respectful to Chris, he coming at your throat.
Yep.
That's how we decided to do it, because we was just like, at the end of the day, he is the main.
Right, and y'all are united for yeah. That's one. Like for real.
When I
because
I know a lot of people who are dealing with this on the other end, and it's ugly. It's ugly to the point where I'm just like, okay, I'm not telling you to do what we do, but can we just try to focus on the child? Like, get your feelings out of it. If you're not don't want to be with this person, whatever the case may be, the child is what's important. The children is what's important. They have to be the center of it.
Yeah, definitely.
I definitely agree with that. Again, look, we don't have any kids. We don't have a blended family, but we have, siblings. We have cousins and stuff that have blended families.
Right.
So we're able to see, the good and the bad.
Right.
And we was on, rocky ground, but we figured it out. All of that stuff, and it's important because in 2021, I mean, for years, it's been blended family. People who have children from previous relationships, and they don't know how to handle it. They don't know how to deal with it. And we talked about, that the marriage comes first, and then the children, and the hierarchy of how the family dynamic is. Well, when you add blended family in there, the hierarchy is still there.
It's still the same.
It's still the same format, but
the dynamic is
you have to kind of spread out a little bit and say, okay, well, even though we're focusing on the kids, we got to make sure that the adults are on the same page, so that everything can fall into line.
But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and wrap it here. Because we could honestly sit and talk all day, for real. like we legit could sit and talk all day. But as always, we always have a good time when we get together. Love y'all company for sure. To our audience out there, to all the fans, thank you guys for tuning in. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. Give us the thumbs up. The whole YouTube jazz. You get it by now. Do all that so we know.
We're on Instagram and Facebook as well, so follow us there
Yeah.
for updates. And be on the lookout, because this is not the first time you're going to see the Moors. We're going to have, other discussions. We want to really thank Chris because Chris can be, like I'm chill guy, I'm here, but he was willing to come on, and we thank you both again, guys, for sharing your beautiful story with us. As I say all the time, you're one of our favorite couples. The way y'all interact with one another, the way y'all interact with the kids,
Yes, definitely.
the way y'all say these are our children.
Right.
And if you ever get to meet them, it's really their children. The
That's
mannerisms, the looks, it's all
Yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, again, we thank you guys for being on one more time with us. We thank all of you out there for watching, tuning in. Until next week,
Yes.
deuces.
Bye.
And yeah, that's